Hello folks, welcome back to the Edupedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta. So today again we are continuing with the standards in auditing, and the standard under consideration for today's lecture would be SA 560, subsequent events. Right? So we have already had a lecture on subsequent event, so please refer to that lecture if you have not attended it. Complete it because you have the basic concept about the subsequent event in the previous lecture. Right, and then only it will be beneficial for you to move ahead with the upcoming lecture. Right, so I'll just give you a brief hint about what topics we have covered in the previous lecture. That would be the first class, that was the first class on SA 560, and this is the second class. Right, so in the first lecture we have already covered the summary, the entire timeline of the period of the financial year ending, and the approval of the board meeting report, the date of auditor's report, and the issue. And what do we actually consider to be subsequent event as per accounting standard 4, and what is a subsequent event as per SA 560, right? And what are the events whom we consider to be, whom we call events occurring after balance sheet date, and others are just facts that are known to auditors, right? The entire concept has already been covered in the previous lecture, the first lecture of SA 560, right? Then you have the types of event as per accounting standard 4. Even this has been covered in the previous lecture. The two kinds of event, one that is adjusting and the other which is not adjusting. Moving ahead, we have also covered the requirement that the auditor has to design and perform certain audit procedures so as to obtain the sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that the management has identified all the events that existed on the balance sheet date and the event that arose after the balance sheet date, both of them, right? So today in the lecture we would continue with the audit procedures, right? So basically these are the 5 topics that we'll be covering. We will understand the management's procedure, that how does the management identify or make an attempt to identify all the subsequent events, right? Then inquire the management about the occurrence of subsequent event. That will be the duty of the auditor, right? That he would inquire and get the entire listing of all the subsequent event that has occurred after the balance sheet date, that is a subsequent event, right? And if we don't get something over there, we would read the minutes of the meeting of the shareholder, TCWG, or the management, or take and read the latest subsequent interim financial statement and take a written representation at the end. So let us discuss these 5 topics in detail, and then we move on with the last topic of the lecture. So basically these 5 procedures that we have just seen, right, these procedures relate to those events which are occurring between the date of financial statement and the date of auditor's report. For these events we'll follow these 5 procedures that we had listed on the screen. We'll discuss them in detail now, and then we will also discuss the procedures that we'll follow for the facts which become known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report and before the date of financial statement are issued, and then the procedures followed for the facts which become known to the auditor after the financial statement have been issued, right? That means facts that comes, if we look at the summary chart, the example that we had taken, this one. So for this procedure we are talking only about the facts that become aware, the facts that come to the knowledge of the auditor, or the facts that occur after the end of the year, like this portion, to before the date of auditor's report. For the next consideration we will cover this area, after the date of auditor's report but before the issue of the financial statement and the auditor's report. And for the third consideration we would cover the infinity part, that is date of issue of the financial statement and auditor's report, and hence forward, this area, right? So this would be the first part, this would be the second part, and this would be the third part. So we'll discuss the procedures for all these 3 parts. So let us get into the discussion about the audit procedure for the first part. So basically over here the auditor wants to ensure that he makes an adjustment or he discloses in the report, right, all those events or conditions that have been identified. So basically all he wants is to identify all the conditions that so that he can report about them. Either he makes an adjustment or he makes a disclosure, right? So when he determines the nature, time and extent of the audit procedure, he shall first go to the management and understand the procedure that the management is following, right? So basically, after the financial statements have been prepared, the management of the company by themselves, they would be performing certain procedures so as to identify any subsequent event, right? So basically, if there are transactions that the management is entering, right, management will obviously know about them. So management do not need to apply procedures to identify those transactions. But if there is something that is out of control, right, like I would take one or two examples. One is that, for example, if there is a fire in the premise of a debtor, you had a major debtor and the premise of the debtor is on fire, and in that fire or in that catastrophe situation, everything for that debtor goes for a toss, and the debtor is not able to pay. The debtor becomes insolvent. So management will have to be updated with all the debtors, all the positions of all the debtors, right? Now suppose the management or the company is dealing into some hazardous substance, right, that could pose a threat on the environment. According to them, they were following all the security safety procedures, they were following all the requirements of the environmentalists, but due to the recent project, right, some environmentalists, they came up with a notice for the company that you are degrading the environment, and if you do not control them, or if the rate goes higher than this percentage, then we would need to shut down your company, right? So this is again an important event that affects the going concern of the management. So even that needs to be identified. So these basic examples that I have taken, I will repeat these examples later in the class when we are taking more subjective discussion on this. So over here, you just need to understand. Please go to the management and understand what are the procedures you are following. So we are reviewing all our debtors, all our external connects, so debtors, creditors, banks. We are reviewing all of them. The litigations that we have entered into, we are into continuous updations with the legal professionals for the updates over there, right? So these are the kinds of procedure the management would be following to identify the subsequent event. So you need to take an understanding of the procedure and judge whether that procedure will actually be sufficient to give them all the evidences, or do you need to perform some extra activities, right? That is why you are taking the understanding basically. Then you need to inquire the management about the occurrence of subsequent event, and specifically those subsequent events that affect the financial statement. So these over here, what kinds of event that will you come across is the example that we had taken initially in the previous class, that if the management is planning to sell off any machinery, or if they are planning to purchase any machinery, so both of it is a subsequent event. But what would be an adjusting event is the selling off of the machinery, because there the event or the condition existed on the balance sheet date. The machinery existed in the fixed as asset category on the balance sheet date, and now it is sold off somewhere in 20 days, by 20th of April, right? So that would require adjustment. So these kinds of occurrence, right, management would already have a list of what are the procedures they are following, what are the steps that they have taken, and with that step, what is the effect on the financial statement, if any, right? So when you make an inquiry, you get an understanding of the same. Next, you can read the minutes of the meeting of the shareholders of the TCWG and the management. Now, what do you think? What do you get from the minutes? So understand one very important thing, that whenever there is a discussion in the company, that needs to be documented. And where is it documented? They are documented in the form of minutes, where you have the list of everybody who attended the board meeting or the shareholders meeting, right? You have the subject matter to be discussed, you have the important discussions, you had the votes over there, right? What was the resolution finally passed? So these kinds of information are always contained in the minutes of the meetings, right? So when you read the minutes, you will come across the facts. Okay, this is the decision you have taken, so you have decided to sell off the machinery. Okay, now you'll go on to check whether or not they have already actually sold the machinery, or when did they sell the machinery. Will it be an adjusting event for you? Will it not be an adjusting event for you? That is what you need to check, right? They have come across some important facts that would affect the going concern, what would they do? They would call a meeting immediately and they would discuss, hey, this thing has happened with us. How do you think we'll control it? How do you think we'll tackle it? And that will be included in the minutes. So all these kinds of informations will be available to you from the minutes of the meeting, right? Then you read the subsequent interim financial statement. Now what are interim financial statement? Interim financial statements are the financial statements which are prepared for a smaller period smaller than 12 months. So if they have prepared an interim financial statement for say the first quarter, right, then you will see that in that financial statement what is the new position of the asset. Is there a major change? Did the asset go down? What is the new position of the debtors? What is the new position of the provisions that they have made, right? So all these factors would be indicative of the changes, and then you go back to understand the reason for that change, and then you could come across an event that may require an adjustment on the balance sheet date, right? Then at the end you take a written representation. So what content does the auditor want the management to include in the written representation, right? So auditor will want the management to confirm via a written representation that all the subsequent events that are known to them, either they have made it or there are some external factors that have acted upon but the management is aware. So all those subsequent events are either adjusted if they require adjustment or disclosed, right? Or the information has been given to the auditor already. So that kind of written representation will be taken from the management. This will actually ensure the completeness, because in the above all procedures, okay, you have found something, you may not have found something, again you may have found something, you may not have found something. But if you did not find something, how do you understand, how do you come to know that, okay, I still have missing evidences? When you're going through the minutes, maybe there were 4 new changes, but you came across 3 and you skipped 1. How do you ensure completeness? You ensure the completeness by taking a written representation. That okay, these have been known to us, these have been known to you, and to club them up, these are the final list that is known to both of us. So please tell us, is there anything else? If there is not, please give us a written representation that this list is a complete list, right? You have recorded everything that you have done, everything that you know for the subsequent event, right? That is the kind of written representation that you will take. Now the second procedure that we talked about, to inquire the management about the occurrence of subsequent event, right? If you look into detail and go precisely with what you need to inquire, then we have a slide for that. Examples of inquiries. So first, the current status of the item that were accounted for on the basis of the preliminary or inconclusive data, which basically means that if there is something that has changed now, or there are some facts or some conclusive data that you have got, according to that, if there is any change, if there is any shift from what you had preliminary thought of and preliminary you recorded, if there is a change, let us know. What is the current status? There is a change, update it. That is what you need to inquire. Next, if there is any development in the risk area and contingencies, that means the risk has increased, the contingencies has increased, so accordingly you will have to increase the provision. Did you do that? Yes? Okay, well and good. No? Do it. Right? Next, any unusual accounting adjustment. If management has come across any unusual accounting adjustment, then that should also be conveyed to the auditor. Because if it is unusual, then it is a matter of risk. An auditor needs to go through it and check whether or not there is a risk associated to it. Right? The last is, did any event occur or is likely to occur that would raise question on the appropriateness of the accounting policies that you have used. So when you applied your accounting policies, right, that has been applied consistently throughout the year from the previous years as well. Now if there are certain events that occur and that defies your accounting policy assumption, appropriateness of the use of accounting policy, then you may need to change that accounting policy. Right? So let us know if there are any such event that has occurred or is likely to occur, because then you will have to take the effect on the accounting policy and hence the effect on the financial statement. Right? So this is the kind of inquiry you would make to the management. Clear with that? Now we are left with just two portions. So if that is clear with you, we move on to the other audit procedures, right? Referring to the two things. One is for the facts which become known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report, but before the issuance of financial statement. And the other is the fact which become known to the auditor after the financial statements have been issued, right? That means the second part and the third part. You remember in the diagram I had shown you? Okay, so let us erase the second part. Now we are concentrated on the facts which become known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report, but before issuance of the financial statement. Now tell me one thing. What do you think? Once the auditor has issued the auditor's report, will it still continue the auditing? Will it still continue looking for facts and figures? No, it will not. That is generally not the responsibility of the auditor. He has no obligation to perform any audit procedure that would relate to the financial statement, right? After the audit report has been issued. No obligation at all. Then why are we talking about the facts which become known to the auditor? How will it be known to the auditor? Listen, here auditor is not performing the procedures, but somehow he becomes aware of certain facts. There's something major that has occurred and the management tells the auditor, hey, this thing has happened. Or somewhere in the market there's a news, or there is something big that has happened and the auditor automatically comes to know. Because we talk over here, if you understand, we're not talking about the events, we are talking about facts. That means things have already occurred, now the auditor comes to know about it, right? So if there is something that the auditor comes to know about, that if was known to the auditor before the date of issuance of the report, the auditor would have amended the report. If such fact, such material fact comes to the knowledge of the auditor, then he shall discuss that fact with the management, that listen, this is something that I have known and this is a major issue, this is a substantial figure, this is a substantial event, what are we supposed to do? He'll discuss the matter with the management, right? And then he'll also ask and he'll discuss and they'll come to a conclusion whether the financial statement needs to be revised, because this event is having a major effect on the financial statement. Do we need to revise it or do we not need to revise it? So yes, I consider we should revise it. Now how do you plan to address it into the financial statement? Because if we want to make a new disclosure, you will have to talk about it, because the preparation and the finalization of financial statement is your responsibility on the first end. So tell me, how are you planning to do it? If the auditor thinks that okay, what management is planning to do is correct, he will ask the management to make such necessary modifications. Otherwise, auditor would ask the management to make such modification as the auditor deems fit, right? So if the management agrees, okay, this is a substantial event, substantial fact, and so we will need to amend our financial statement, and management amends the financial statement. So what you do is you will extend your audit procedure and check that, right? Whatever management has done, you will have to check and reconfirm that whether it is correct, right? And then after doing that, you will adjust it into your audit report. You will have to make certain disclosures over there, you will have to amend it, and then you will provide a new auditor's report on the amended financial statement, right? But what if the management does not amend it? Management says no, we will not amend it, you have given us the report, let it be. Then the auditor will have to seek the effect on its report. If it thinks that he needs to modify the opinion, he will modify the opinion. But he can only modify the opinion if the report is still in his hand. But what if he has already handed over the report to the management? He will not be able to do that. So in that case, he will request the management, please give me my report back. I need to make certain amendments into it. And if the management denies, no, we are not giving you a report back, we'll issue it further. We don't want you to please take any action on this. Let it be, it's just a fact that has occurred and it's already too late, let it be. Let us issue the financial statement. Then auditor will have to take those steps that the auditor considers to be fit. It is now a discretionary power given to the auditor, right? So if the auditor thinks that no, the difference is so material that my issuance of the report with the opinion that I have given would actually impact the decision of the users of the financial statement. But if he wants to give a true report on that, what can he do is basically he can issue a public notice. If the management does not give it and management issues it further, he can issue a public notice that, listen, please don't rely on my statement. There are certain matters I have come to know based on which I withdraw my report. I am not liable for the opinion that is given in the report. Right? And he'll issue a public notice so that everybody knows. Correct? So, for the facts which become known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report, but before the issuance of the financial statement, these are the procedures that the auditor can follow. Right? So, if we again think of it in a nutshell, what is it? He would discuss with the management, determine the impact on financial statement, and if required, ask the management to amend it, and accordingly amend his report and give a new report on the new date. Right? But if the management denies, no, we are not giving you the report, we are not amending anything, then if they are not amending anything, he can modify his report accordingly that they are not amending this, but these are the facts that I have known, and accordingly I am modifying my opinion. But what if he has given the report already to the management, and the management, he will request it back from the management and modify it. But if the management is not giving it back, he will take steps which he deems to be necessary in that situation. Right? The last part with us is the fact which become known to the auditor after the financial statements have been issued. Now that is the risky thing. It has already been issued. It has gone to the regulators. It has gone to the ROC. It has gone to the stock exchange. It has gone everywhere. Right? Now what to do? Now it is an allowing situation. Now the auditor comes to know about a fact that would force him to change his opinion. If that was known to him before the date of the report, what should he do now? He will again follow those basic steps that he did follow in the above situation. That is, he will discuss the matter with the management and determine whether the financial statements need to be amended. And if they conclude that yes, the financial statements need to be amended, right, then he'll inquire how management intends to address the matter in the financial statement. And if he thinks that okay, they are doing it very well and management also amends the financial statement, then he needs to carry out further procedures. So what would he do basically? He would ask the management to inform everybody to whom you have issued the report and the financial statement. Please let them know that we are amending it. Please put a halt on it. Don't rely on that report and that financial statement. Right? And then he will ensure to see whether the management has followed a good procedure and is everybody informed. And if he thinks that yes, everybody is informed, now nobody is relying on the previous report, he would extend his audit procedure to the new date of auditor's report and issue a new report along with the amended financial statement. Right? And the new fact should be included in either the emphasis or matter paragraph, or if he wants to change his opinion or he wants to modify the financial statement, he would do that. Right? So that is basically all about SA 560. So if we bring the entire essay down in a nutshell, if we summarize the essay, then what do we have in hand? First, we need to understand the difference between the subsequent event as per Accounting Standard 4 and Standards on Auditing 560. Right? For Accounting Standard 4, it is between the date of financial statement and the date of acceptance of financial statement or the approval of financial statement by the board. Whereas in SA 560, it is between the date of financial statement up to the issuance of the financial statement and the auditor's report to the other authorities who need them. Right? You know the difference between the events and the facts. Events are those conditions or transactions that are occurring, that are happening, and then you know about it. But facts are something that has already occurred, that has already happened, and now you are coming to know about it. Right? That is one thing you understood. Next is that you need to understand that there are two kinds of situations, two kinds of events. One is that which would require adjustment, that means that existed on the balance sheet date, and the other is that which would not require an adjustment, that means it did not exist on the balance sheet date. Right? Conservatism and prudence are the two steps that you are following over here. Right? After that, you need to perform certain audit procedures, right, so as to obtain a sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that management on the first hand has identified all the subsequent event, right, and we have made the necessary adjustment along with it. For that, he will inquire with the management, he would discuss with the management, see the minutes of the meetings that they have, see the latest interim financial statement if any that the management has issued, and finally for the completeness purpose also take a written representation from the management. Right? After that, there may be certain conditions that or events that occur after the issuance of the report. For that, what you need to do? Report has been already given to them. So you will ask the report back. Give us the report. This is something, because if you think that that event that you have come to know now, if you would have known it before the issuance of report, you would have given a different report. So you'll ask the report back. You will sit with the management. You will inquire what has happened, why has it happened, how will you take an effect on the financial statement. Management says we would amend the financial statement and you please amend the report. You say okay. Management amends the financial statement. You sit down to amend your report and then issue a new report. And for that you extend your audit procedure till the date of the new report, and you will mark the report on the new date. Right? But what if the management denies? No, we will not make any adjustment. You will not make any adjustment. Right? So they do not give you back the report. They do not modify the financial statement and they issue the financial statement. What will you do? What will you do? If they are not making adjustment and you are able to make adjustment, if the report is still in your hand, make that adjustment. Make it known into your report. But if you don't have the report in your hand, the report is already with the management and the management is issuing it. So please request them, don't issue it, give me my report back. I need to give you a modified report. But management does not do that. They issue the report. What will you do is you may issue a public statement. That listen, please don't rely on my report. I was supposed to give a different report, but management did not allow me to do so. But I have come across certain evidences based on which I withdraw my report from this audit. You will issue a public notice for that. Right? Now, if there are some factors that are known to you after the issuance of the financial statement and the report, and even the management is willing to correct it, what will you do? Sit down, discuss with the management. Management says, oh, this has happened. Okay, we didn't know it. Let us do one thing, let us amend it. How do we amend it? Please issue a new financial statement. I am issuing a new report to you. Right? And first, inform those people whom you have issued the report that please don't rely on that. We are sending you a new one. There is an issue. Please stop. Don't rely on that. Right? Please amend your financial statement. In the meantime, as an auditor, I will amend my report, and the new financial statement and the new report will be circulated to them. But you will make sure whether they have actually followed a good procedure to ensure that everybody is relying on their financial statement, stops relying on it, and then they rely on the new financial statement. Right? That is basically what the subsequent event essay deals about. Right? And now if you understand the basic kind of questions that you get over here is number one, either to explain your procedure or how would you treat a subsequent event. Right? Now if there is a catastrophic situation, something gone wrong or with the debtor and he is not able to repay you the money, then that is a subsequent event. You will have to take an adjustment because that debtor existed on the balance sheet date. You have a debtor in your balance sheet and then something goes wrong with that debtor. You will have to amend it. You will have to raise provisions. Right? That is the adjustment of subsequent event. Right? Next, and you need to also understand that this essay, this standard on auditing is a little different than your AS4. The only thing that we took here from AS4 is the kinds of event. Adjusting, non-adjusting. Rest all are the procedures of your standard, and that has to be followed as per the institute. Otherwise, you would succumb to professional misconduct. But that is not the requirement of law. Right? So when you talk about your original financial statement, then you will have to follow Accounting Standard 4 for that purpose. Got it? So with that, we come to an end to this lecture and we come to an end of this standard. So stay tuned for the next lecture in the next class and the next standard that we take up. Until then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you. Bye-bye.